Okay, and we seem to be recording. No hat today, forgot it at home. Anyway, yesterday I saw a video that I really enjoyed from LInus's Tech Tips. And it's a channel that's been around for a while. It's literally what it sounds like. They talk about technology. And the video was talking about this term that cell phone companies have been throwing around lately: studio quality photography. And basically, so they handed the guy whose channel it is, Linus, a Fuji camera. A It's called a medium format. I'm not going to explain it if you don't know what it is. Allergies. That's probably going to happen a few times on this. And let's turn that fan away. That's probably not helping. Anyway, uh, so So Linus took a medium format Fujifilm camera, which is a professional camera. It actually is, but that's a weird term, professional camera. And then the other guy in the video, who is an actual photographer, took a Pixel 3, and there was a challenge. And it's a very funny video. I'll link to it in the comments, in the description rather. But I wanted to talk about that because iPhone just put out their iPhone 11, and same thing. This is a term that font adhesive never seen regular was active. I don't know what that is. Anyway, thanks Adobe for the interruption. So I guess it was Tim Cook on stage. It was like, the iPhone 11 will give you studio quality photography. What does studio quality photography mean? Absolutely jack shit, nothing. It's a made up term. If you're a photographer and you have a studio, it's not just your camera that you're using. You also have studio lights, like other tools to basically craft the light. That's what gives you studio photography. The reality is that if I'm running and gunning, meaning like out and about taking photos on the fly with my professional camera, it's not going to be exactly studio quality either because, like on some shoots, obviously you bring what you need. You bring all the equipment and all that. But, if you're out and about with your camera, you're not going to carry everything you have all the time like in your regular life. Photographers have more than just cameras and lenses. There's a lot that goes into it that you might not know about unless you're a photographer. So the studio thing, it's nonsense. Now, what am I saying? Does that mean that I'm saying that you should go out and buy a regular, like, professional camera? No. No. In fact, whenever my brother asked me a couple years ago, my sister-in-law is a painter and wanted to get a professional camera so that she could take pictures and then paint based on the pictures. And I said, well, I can help you with that, but the reality is you're much better off just getting her the newest iPhone or whatever she uses. They use iPhones, I don't. And because I said, pictures really aren't going to be much better, with a professional camera because she's going to have to learn how to use it. That's more than she's bargaining for. Um, Now the reality is, even though I have two professional cameras, and do the finger thing, but you know what I mean. Even though I have two of those, the camera that I use most often is my Pixel 3 XL. I don't know about currently, but uh, the iPhone 11 may have surpassed this. I kind of doubt it a lot. And the Pixel 4 is about to come out next month, so But either way, this was the best cell phone camera on the market by a lot. Really, really great cell phone camera. And the reality is, I don't use this for shoots, but if I'm on the fly, even my A6400, which I call my walking around camera, I don't carry it everywhere. I just don't. I got too much to do, too many things going on. So sometimes I shoot with my Pixel 3 XL. Now, I'm going to show you what that means. This here, as you can tell, is my ugly mug. Slightly better looking ugly mug here than here. It was a rough night. Anyway, so pretty damn good photo. This is actually what I use as a headshot in all my avatars, and I'm subscribed to one of those casting websites. This is my headshot. It's a good photo of me, and if you zoom in, still a damn good photo of me, even though what I call facial hair here is a little unkempt. Excuse me. But you see, in the background, you get. I'm going to call it bokeh. It's actually fake bokeh. If you don't know what bokeh is, it's the blurry background that you see in studio quality photography. It does give you that. My Pixel 3 XL gives me that. Now, could I have taken this photo with my professional camera? Well, somebody could have. I couldn't have. Be a little hard to take this particular photo of myself, even with my A6400, which has a flip-out screen. But yes, I could have taken this photo, could have taken a much nicer one, frankly, a lot sharper with my professional camera. But it's unnecessary. In this case, I was just looking to take a photo. I was dressed in a suit, thought it was a good shot. And because now, so all the way your cell phone works is like it sort of digitally recreates what a professional camera would do. So if you look, you can see these settings here are replicating what would happen in my professional camera. So ISO is something that I'll talk about a couple of times in this video. So you see here that says ISO 69. Now, most cameras, I think there's some that go to ISO 50. Most of them start at ISO 100. ISO is the sensitivity of your camera sensor. So when you jack up the ISO, and different cameras go to different lengths, it makes it more sensitive, which is what allows you to take photos in darker environments. So in this case, it's bright outside. I'm in the shade. ISO 69 doesn't need to be any higher than that. This is how close it is, basically 3 millimeters. And this is the shutter speed. This is how quickly it's taken the photo. 1/1250th of a second. Most of that you don't need to know. But good shot. Good shot. Because I was in the shade, I was able to take this photo. Now I'm going to mention that because I'm going to go to a photo that I took with my A6400. I'm just going to leave this down here so it doesn't keep doing this nonsense. So I'm really proud of this photo. This was taken in June here in Louisiana. Now, the mistake I made, and I make a lot of mistakes. I'm a much better photographer than I was, but I still make a lot of mistakes, and and even like, some of the best photographers out there, they make mistakes. They throw away shots all the time. This shot was taken at probably like 6 p.m. in June, Louisiana. What that means is that the sun did not set until 8, so it was super sunny. The sun was very harsh on our subject here. But despite that, because I was using a professional camera, my A6400 with a 50 millimeter lens, I was able to get really cool results. So if I had taken, let's go back. If I had taken a shot with my Pixel 3 XL, as I did with this one, so this is in the shade. So you'll notice it doesn't seem to be very harsh light. You got some shadow and all that. This is in direct balls out sunlight. If I had taken this shot with my Pixel 3, now you'll notice it's a little bit, you can see that the light's a little bit harsh, but it doesn't look too bad. There's not like giant white spots really, sort of irritating his skin. That's because I had an idea of what I was doing. I shot at 1/2500th of a second. Now, what that means is that the camera takes in a little bit less light. Actually, a lot less light. I was shooting at f2.5, also less light. I probably should have shot close to f4 in this case, but either way, the results came back really good. You see lots of colors in the background. Nothing's blown out. Because with a lot of light, sometimes like everything goes white. Like sometimes you wonder, like if you've ever taken a photo with a quote unquote professional camera, why is the sky white? It's got basically you got to know what you're doing. You got it's a little too difficult to explain here because a lot of this is supposed to be layman stuff, but because I had an idea of what I was doing, and again, probably should have been at f4 or maybe 1/4000th of a second, but, play around with it a little bit. But I'm really proud of this shot. And, looks really good up close. Everything's sharp. Let's look at the kid's hair. Super sharp, But again, not saying you should get a professional camera. I had to learn how to use this, and I'll get to that a little bit more in a second. Now, let me compare another type, night photography. This was at a concert I went to recently. This is with my Pixel 3 XL using Night Sight, I think it's called. Basically, it's a setting on my phone that allows me to shoot better photos at night. Now, doesn't look too bad. You see the light strobes and all that. I think this is Chris Jansen playing, maybe Chris Young, country concert. But you can see, a lot of this is called noise, by the way. It looks a little different on your cell phone than it does on a camera, a photo from a regular camera, but pretty good. Much better than, way better than you would have gotten, like even 2 or 3 years ago with a cell phone. This is actually pretty damn good. You can even sort of make out. Again, I don't know if this is. I think this is Chris Young. Yeah, that's Chris Young. Got a couple making out there. Somebody laughing in the background. But you can see the whole scene. You get an idea of what's going on. Pretty damn good. But I could have done way better with my A6400 if I had decided to bring it. Now, by comparison, this photo, which I'm very proud of, I love this photo. This is a model from Baton Rouge, gorgeous young lady, and now this was taken with my Nikon D7100. Now this is actually from the Jason Lanier workshop. If you've seen the previous video that people hated, this is from the photo walk that I did, and I was still kind of figuring things out. So if you look at my settings, my ISO's at 640. The Nikon D7100 is actually a really good camera, but well, for starters, if you're starting out, it's a great camera. Not great at shooting at night, low light areas. I had my 85 millimeter f1.8, and for some reason, so the lower the f-stop, the more light you're letting in. You want to go lower for f-stop, higher, well, sort of higher. The bigger number on your shutter speed. So I'm shooting at 1/50th of a second and f3.2. I should have been shooting at f1.8 and a higher, like 1/250th of a second or something like that. Now, because I have my ISO at 640, which it doesn't handle higher ISOs that well, when you look in, you can see a lot of that noise that I was talking about. But overall, you can't tell. So this is still, I'm really proud of this photo, despite the fact that if I had known what I was doing, it would be a much better photo. But, I also had a light, by the way, shining on her. So a Rotolite Neo 2. So that's an example of a good photography, a good photo with my camera where I knew what I was doing and I was able to shoot at night and still get, studio quality photography, whatever. This is an example of a photo from a few years ago that I really screwed up because I didn't know what I was doing. And this is why you should not buy a professional camera unless you're willing to put in the time, the effort, and the money to really learn it, because my ISO is 6400 here. This camera cannot handle being that high. f5.6, I should have been, actually in this shot, I should have been at like f2.8 or something like that. And 1/25th of a second, that's pretty slow. I mean, it's in a darker environment, so you want a slower shutter speed, but that slow, wasn't necessary. I could have mitigated the circumstances, and I really, if I had known better, I should have a light. It's like I can shoot at f5.6 here, but I needed a light. I needed a flash. And, this is a photo that I dumped, and again, the best photographers trash photos all the time. It's not, not you're not going to always get your exposure correct, but knowing what you do helps. And I didn't know what I was doing here, and this is actually an embarrassing photo. The posing's not that great, which is not their fault. It's my fault. Everything here is my fault. They look wonderful. It's me. So my white balance is set for the background, which looks fine, but the white balance on them is off, and again, I needed a flash. So what I'm saying is, don't buy a professional camera. Go get yourself a Pixel 3 XL or Pixel 4 XL when that comes out. You can dump iPhones. They suck, but they don't. But I'm not a fan. But in the end, it's fine to, use your cell phone. That's what I use most of the time. But when it comes down to something where you really want to make memories and you can't afford to lose your photos or just have them, weddings, whatever it is, spend the money and hire somebody who knows what they're doing. Don't count on studio quality photography to actually work out in your favor, because it won't. It won't. I don't care how many iPhones your audience has in the wedding where you're trying to save money. You're going to end up with a lot of garbage photos and wishing you had spent a little bit of money to get somebody with a professional camera. Anyway, that's today's lesson. Thank you for watching. I will be wearing my hat in the next one. Fuck you to all the haters who constantly, oh, stupid hat. That's my hat. It's the hat I've been wearing for 20 years. You can suck. Well, not that particular one. That one I've had about 10, but you can suck it. Anyway, thank you. If you feel like it, feel free to like and subscribe and comment and whatever. And check out that LInus video that I'm going to post a link to, because it's pretty funny. Thank you, and good night.